Could you take one more? Just one more. It's for my father. He passed last spring, and this was his favorite bench. He said it quietly, standing in Milford Riverside Park with his phone held out, not quite meeting her eyes. The slight embarrassment of a grown man asking a stranger for a favor weighted with grief. He was wearing a plain jacket, no tie, nothing that marked him as anything other than a person who needed a photograph taken on a Tuesday afternoon in October. Lena Vare, 25 years old, had been shooting the riverside for 2 hours, not for a client, just for herself, the way she did when the light was doing something worth following. She had her Canon, her worn camera bag, and $43 in her account until Friday. She was building a portfolio on the margin between rent and ambition, and the October light on the river was exactly the kind of light she needed. She looked at the phone he was holding out, then at his face. Then she lowered her Canon and said, "Put your phone away. Let me take it properly." He blinked. "You don't have to." "I know," she said. "Sit on the bench. Look at the river. Don't look at me." He sat. He looked at the river. She took 6 frames, not with his phone, but with her Canon, finding the angle where the afternoon light fell across the bench the way light falls when it has decided to mean something. She took her time. She got what she was looking for. She sent the best one to his phone via airdrop without being asked and said only, "The light was good today." He looked at the photograph for a long moment. Something in his face became very still. "This is exactly where he used to sit," he said. "You got the light exactly right." "Good light tells you where to look," she said. "You just have to listen." He looked up at her then, really looked for the first time with the full attention of someone who has received something real. "Thank you," he said. "What do I owe you?" "Nothing," she said. She was already adjusting her camera strap. "It was a good photograph. That's enough." His name was Cormac Aldrin, 33 years old. He was the founder and CEO of Aldrin Development Group, a real estate and community infrastructure company whose projects had reshaped portions of 3 cities over the past decade. He had a building named after his father in the financial district 12 blocks from this park. He had a driver who was currently parked on the Riverside Road waiting for him. He had come to the bench alone because some things needed to be done without an assistant or a schedule or a car idling nearby. His father had died in April. The grief was not dramatic. It was the slow, daily kind, the kind that appeared in ordinary moments: a bench by a river, October light, the wish to have a photograph taken properly. He had not expected the young woman with the good camera and the direct manner and the 6 unhurried frames. He had not expected to be given something that good for nothing. He looked at the photograph on his phone for the rest of the afternoon. He tried to find her the following week, not intrusively. He had her airdrop name, which was only Lena V, and the memory of a camera bag with a patch on the front strap. He went back to the riverside on Tuesday, same time, because good light and good habits tended to repeat. She was there, same bag, same patch, different jacket. "You came back," she said, not looking up from her viewfinder. "I wanted to say thank you properly," he said. "The photograph, my sister cried when she saw it, in a good way." Lena lowered her camera, looked at him. "I'm glad," she said simply. He sat on the bench, the father's bench, and she sat on the far end, and they talked the way people talk when neither of them has an agenda, which was for Cormac Aldrin a rarer experience than it should have been. She told him about the portfolio, about the gap between the work she was making and the work she was getting paid for, about the particular frustration of being good at something the market hadn't found a box for yet. He listened without advising, which she noticed and appreciated. He didn't tell her his name beyond Cormac. She didn't ask for his last name. It didn't feel necessary. 3 weeks later, her portfolio website received a message from the communications director of Aldrin Development Group requesting rates for a long-term documentary photography project, capturing the human impact of 3 community development sites across the city. The budget listed was larger than Lena's annual income.
She stared at the email for a long time. Then she Googled the company. Then she sat very still for another while. She wrote back professionally and asked for a meeting. The meeting was with the communications director and one other person, who walked in, sat down across from her, and was Cormac. She looked at him. He looked at her with the expression of someone who has made a decision and is comfortable with it. "You knew," she said. "I looked you up after the airdrop," he said. "Your portfolio is exceptional." "You didn't say anything." "You didn't ask," he said, "and I wanted to have a real conversation first, without the context." A pause. Was that wrong? She thought about the bench, the 6 frames, the way he had looked at the photograph of his father's favorite place. "No," she said honestly, "it wasn't wrong." "The project is real," he said. "The budget is real. You'd have full creative control." Another pause. "I hire people because of their work. The photograph by the river was proof of yours." She looked at the portfolio open on the table between them, her photographs, her light, the years of building something on the margin between rent and ambition, and felt the specific, clarifying feeling of being found by the right thing at the right time because she had simply done good work without asking what it was worth first. "I'd need to review the full brief," she said. "That's the right answer," he said. Outside the conference room window, the October city moved in its ordinary afternoon rhythm. Inside it, a photographer and a CEO sat across from each other, with a portfolio between them and the memory of a bench by a river where something honest had happened and where a woman had taken 6 careful frames for nothing and gotten everything right. Do good work. Give it freely when the moment asks. The right people are always watching, and the most important thing they're watching for is whether you know the difference between what something is worth and what it costs. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.